Hello, everyone. Welcome back to yet another political episode. So, it's time to talk about another election. Currently, we are struggling with the Cameroonian election, specifically because they are undergoing some election fraud allegations. Though that election is disputed, the opposition leader is giving the government a very hard time. He's declared himself the winner. That is pretty much disputed. And I'm not sure if we're going to get in a result for a while. But we do have results in Ireland, and with 79.3% of the vote in, we can now project that Catherine Connolly is the elected president of Ireland. It is important that the president of Ireland does not have the same executive power as the president of the United States or the president of France. That executive power goes to the Taoiseach or something like that, the Taoiseach or something like that, who is the official head of state of Ireland. Catherine Connolly, she's basically the figurehead. She also has some executive power, but the Taoiseach is the official head of state that gets to make impactful decisions for Ireland in other ways. So he's basically the figurehead and the state. But then again, Catherine Connolly, who's now the elected president, she also has significant powers also. So we're going to go ahead and estimate these results. First, let's go ahead and introduce the candidates. So you got Catherine Connolly, who is the leftist candidate. And I'm just going to call it as it is. All three of these candidates are leftists. All three of them are leftists. But these two will lie to you and they'll say, oh, we're conservatives. We're conservative. This Gael is a leftist. She's backed by all the leftist parties. You'll see here, this is all the leftist parties right here backing Catherine Connolly, who is an independent, not really independent. She was from the Labour Party, allegedly, 2000. She does. They don't know when she first, became a Labour Party member. But she left the Labour Party in 2006 to become an independent. And she's the elected president. No surprise, because Ireland is an extremely liberal country. We're going to go over that in a little bit. But also you got Heather Humphreys, who's from the Fine Gael party, and they claim it's center-right. But I want to go ahead and just reflect on the values of this so-called center-right party. For instance, two issues in regards to transgender people. Well, let's just talk about abortion first. Abortion is, of course, never mind. This is transgender result. Okay. I'm a little all over the place today, but we'll talk about abortion a little bit. But for example, transgender people and transgender men or transgender women, or just men in general in women's bathrooms, Fine Gael seems to be okay with it. It says, Fine Gael has a supportive and progressive stance on transgender issues, advocating for inclusive policies and advancement of transgender rights, quote, quote, and we know what transgender rights mean. Transgender rights means playing in women's sports and going into women's locker rooms and going into women's bathrooms. The party has historically supported key legislation, and its internal LGBTQ plus network continues to push for further reforms. So this is obviously Obviously, they have the Gender Recognition Act reform. Fine Gael supports continuing to review and improve the Gender Recognition Act to ensure the meaningful inclusion of trans and non-binary people. The party has historically favored expanding gender recognition through self-declaration rather than require medical intervention. So basically, through self-declaration. Interesting. But obviously, you got also a hate crime legislation. Fine Gael-led government signed off on legislation that would criminalize incitement to hatred against transgender people by explicitly including gender identity in the protected categories. So if I were to say, misuse someone's pronoun, then I go to jail, according to Fianna Fail. Fianna Fail is also very supportive in regards to abortion. You'll see its official position on abortion outcome of the 2018 referendum, which legalized abortion to ensure full access to services legislated by the Health Act 2018. This stance marks a significant shift, as it used to be pretty, let's just say, standoffish when it comes to abortion. And yes, obviously, the abortion referendum passes 66.4%. Just ridiculous. Yeah, it's just, and to be honest, Fianna Fail isn't even any different. Fianna Fail, so you got the Heather Humphreys running under the Fianna Fail, and you got also Fianna Fail, which also is not any different. Center to center right. Oh, BS. Christian democracy. Oh, really? Really? Let's talk about what Fianna Fail's positions on the transgender position is. Based on its official statements, party network activities, and policy positions, Fianna Fail officially supports transgender rights and has committed to promoting equality, diversity, and inclusion of transgender people. Recent actions by Fianna Fail ministers and senators reaffirmed this position, though some criticisms exist regarding the pace of policy implementation. So, obviously, and we know, like, for instance, transgender rights, they'll say, oh, well, you're trying to take away rights. Well, it's not the rights that we have. They believe going into a woman's bathroom and going to a woman's locker room and playing in a woman's sport is a right for them. It's not. So obviously, this does not sound like a conservative party. No. And same deal with abortion. Although they don't have an official position on abortion, but I can imagine they're so laxed on it. But yeah, these are conservative parties? You gotta be kidding me. These people are making you a BS sandwich, and you wonder why there's so much momentum in these anti-immigration riots in Ireland. Really, there's just anti-leftist riots. These Irish officials, they'll say, oh, well, no, you don't understand. You don't understand that you have a conservative. In fact, we never had a liberal Taoiseach as president, or as a liberal as head of state, in other words. I believe you, but they're technically right. That's because they follow this, okay? So, really, this is all the results exposed. This is from the 2024 general election, by the way. General election of 2024. It showed that, according to the 2024 election, 47.12% of Irishmen, or Irish women, or of Irish, are right-wing. Left-wing Irish include 35.9%. Center, 17.11%. But when you take into the context of the Fianna Fail and the Fianna Fail and the Fine Gael, and put it into proper perspective, and add it with all the other bogus political parties. Like, let's take a look from the previous result. You also have the left-wing political party. Let's see here, 2024. Yeah, you got the left-wing political party, Sinn Féin, and that's basically a socialist party. And you add it to those, you got 77.75% left-wing. This is the Americanized results. 77.75% left-wing. Center, 13.20%. And right-wing, all down to the single digits, 9.4%. 9.4% are conservative in Americanized terms, in terminology. Center is, people that identify as a center are actually in second place. They have a double-digit majority. And they always had a double-digit. But since when did one party in the political spectrum drop down to one single digit? This is absolutely crazy. These people are lying to you. They're not right-wing. Maybe they are right-wing in their Europeanized terminology, but they're far left. Maybe Fianna Fail and Fine Gael, they are center right, or no, let's just say center left or left wing, but maybe Democratic Party terms and terminology in Ireland. But Sinn Féin and the other political parties that are adding into that, like Social Democrats, Labour, PBP, Solidarity, and the Green Party, they are socialist parties. They are far left. So basically, you're getting 35.9%, at least far left individuals, 35.9%. And to be clear, their policies, I mean, all these political parties are just overwhelmingly pro-Palestine. Ireland has been a country that is, in 2024, that has stood with Palestine to the very beginning, even after October 7th. You have the conservative leader, quote unquote, Michael Martin. He delivered a rambunctious condemnation of Israel, even though they do deserve it, because they are being rambunctious, and they are, although in recent times and recent days, they are being more lax. They're cooperating with our ceasefire, which is good, but this guy doesn't give them any benefit of the doubt. He is tap dancing to the far left. He is so-called conservative. He's not. He supports gender ideology. He supports abortion. You're not allowed to have a gun in Ireland, so that doesn't even matter. This guy's a left-wing lunatic. He would be a Democrat. He is 100% a Democrat. And yeah, we know he is a lunatic because he goes on our soil and goes and boohoo whines and cries about our foreign policy and how we conduct things in the Middle East. Regardless if you agree with it or not, this guy shouldn't be whining and crying on our country. Oh, but it's a UN chamber. Hey, what can I say? So, obviously, the results speak for themselves. It's disputed. The Europeanized results say, oh, Ireland's conservative. The Americanized results says, oh, no, you don't understand. Oh, this is us. But it's left-wing. Oh, but you don't understand. No, it's right-wing. 47.12%. This is what the people like Rosie O'Donnell would tell us. But despite Rosie O'Donnell living all the way in Ireland, saying how great it is, she's still talking about Trump. She's also participating in the blackout protest, where all the liberals, Trump deranged liberals, are just going to slam the doors. They're just going to skip work, put into their late notices, and they're going on a hunger strike. It's like Lent all over again. It's like the populist, left-wing, secular version of Lent. They don't go to grocery stores. They don't go to movies. They don't do that. And what ends up happening, yeah, I mean, this is all an attempt to break and destroy the American economy. This is why we want to take away Rosie O'Donnell's citizenship. Because she is literally participating in a lunatic effort to destroy our country. She's not even from the U.S. She's in Ireland now. She should shut up and she should participate in Irish politics. But here's the deal. Hang on. Wait. There's nothing going on in Ireland other than the 9.4% of conservatives that are protesting the far left government in Ireland. But hey, we know they'll never take power because the system's weaponized against them, and as a result, they're not a problem. They're not an issue. So, hey, what's the point? And what's the point of being angry and mad about them? Just saying, they're basically nobodies. So when you have stuff like this going on, I would say definitely 80% of Irish would vote for Kamala Harris if this were the 2024 election were to happen in Ireland, which is insane. Insane. They are socialists over there. Don't let them lie to you and say, oh, well, we never had a conservative. That's true. They never really had a conservative from the Sinn... No, I think it's a Sinn Féin party. Yeah, the Sinn Féin party, which is the center-left party. They never really had a head of state from the Sinn Féin party. And if I can say it correctly, Taoiseach. Okay, yeah, I can't speak Irish. But yeah, they're correct, but in our terms, they all have been left-wing. Every single one of them. Because they support the left-wing, they read the left-wing, they read out of the same book. They just identify as something different. But identity politics is all what matters in Ireland. In fact, it's what matters in all of Europe. So I know what a lot of you all want me to do is review the results. There's nothing really to review other than we knew, hey, water's wet. Connolly was going to win regardless. She is the far left candidate. Obviously, she was winning in the polls by a lot. 60%, 61%, 63%, 60%. This lady, this is the socialist candidate. She's the socialist candidate, and she's cracking 60%. You got the Democrat party, modern day Democrat, the U.S. Democrat Party aligned candidate, who is Humphreys, Heather Humphreys. She's getting like 34%, and not to mention you got the Clintonian, more Democratic party. I would say that Fianna Fail is more like a Clintonian modern day Democratic Party. I will be honest with you. They treat transgender people as like racial minorities like we do in the United States. And we know that's not true. That's not true. Okay? Gender dysphoria is a mental illness, and it exists. You don't... what we do in the United States is we try to help them. We give them counseling. Hey, I understand your gender dysphoria makes you think that you are a man, not a girl. And you try to reason with them. Give them medication. This is a mental illness. Treat it like a mental illness, but they can't do it because that's transphobic. That's homophobic. I never thought in a sane world, that is, we would cave in to the mental illness. It's sad. It truly is sad. And looking at these results, it says that, okay, yeah, there is a lot of uprising in Europe, but this is pretty much 77.75. Well, round up, it's 80% if you add the center, which also probably believes in transgender garbage. Over 80%. So, yeah. So this is our result. So, before I forget, let's go ahead and add Ireland to the 6, to the center, which is really is an independent, so I can't say she's aligned, even though we do know she's aligned with the far left. But this is a non-Americanized system, as much as I am skeptical about it. But anyway, what do you guys think in regards to this video? Let me know down below. And as always, I'll see you all in the next political episode.